Hey, how you doing, folks? I just recently picked up a Humminbird Helix 7, and what I've been doing with it is ice fishing. Now, normally you wouldn't see these types of units out there on the ice, but because I like to fish year-round, I got the unit as a pretty versatile unit that I can use on the ice or off the ice on a boat. And I'm going to go over with you how I've been using it, ice fishing. After I picked up the unit, I just went ahead and bought a nice ram mount, about $50–$60, and then I bolted the ram mount to this actual bracket that the unit comes with right out of the box. And then along with the ram mount, I got this giant chip clip, and that was pretty inexpensive. And then I got a 12-volt rechargeable battery from Cabela's because that's where I was at when I picked up the unit. Now, for mounting that unit, what I did is I just took a 5-gallon bucket, picked up from Ace Hardware, and I started drilling on it. And I mounted the ball of the ram mount to the top of the lid, drilled some holes right here for my transducer cable and my power cable. If you're gonna go this route, what I suggest doing is lining the back of this lid with a thin sheet of wood, or do up some 2x4s or however you want to do it, because this plastic is kind of flimsy. It's pretty thin, but what I did is I just took some washers, as you can see, and just cinched it down with some wing nuts. Works out pretty good. I haven't had any problems with it. As far as it just kind of tilting over or anything, it actually holds up pretty well once you lock in all these tabs on the bucket itself. Oh man, stuff's falling apart on me. Another thing that you can do with these holes on the lid is you can you can drill out just some nice round holes, put some O-rings or whatever you want to do, try to keep out any water that might get thrown around. I haven't had any problems with water getting into my unit, even in the snow. It doesn't really collect a whole lot because it is a pretty small diameter hole. Also, even though I'm ice fishing, I'm still using the same transducers that you would if you were to mount it on a boat. Now, you can pick up an ice fishing transducer if you want to for your unit, but I think they run $80 to $100 depending on where you buy it. But what I did is I just took the mountings up that you'd mount on the back of your boat, and I clipped it all in. You don't have to do it, but I did just because it makes the backing of the transducer mount itself a little bit wider. And I just took just a plain old screw, and what I do is I drill this into a 2x1 piece of wood that I have, and the hole goes all the way through the mountings. You don't have to do any pre-drilling or anything like that. But what I do with the plank of wood is that at the bottom of it, I just cinch the transducer right to that plank of wood, so it's all nice and snug, and so that transducer is nice and level. And then I take this nice chip clip, and what I do is I clip it to the handle of the bucket while the handle is down, and it holds it up nice and snug. I haven't had it fall off. I've had some fish knock into it, fishing in the same hole as my transducer's down there, and it hasn't fallen off. This is a steel grip 2-inch spring clamp. I mean, you can get kind of whatever clamp you want to use or however you want to go about it. This is just what I do. Works out pretty well for me. And then the reason I just went with a bucket is because it keeps everything just nice and tidy. Keeps everything all together. I don't have to worry about where my battery's at or where my clip is or any other type of tools or electrical tape or anything that I need, that I might need while I'm out there on the water. Now, also, if you get that battery, it doesn't come with it in the packaging, but you're gonna have to get, I know this is a nice Frankenstein job, we're gonna have to get some female ends for your power wire. Real easy to do. I mean, they're really easy to find, really easy to rig up. And then the only thing is that you got to make sure that they're the right size for the gauge of wire that you're using, because mine are a little bit big. I've been having a little bit of problems with it, but they work out great. This 12-volt battery works out really, really good. Really, I've gone out 5 times with it, and I probably wouldn't have needed to charge it at all, but I have, just to been safe. I went out a whole day, got down to about half a charge. Other times I've only been out for a few hours. And then even though this Helix 7 is kind of a bigger unit, that 12 volt keeps it running all day long, no problem. And that's about it. I've also seen people take plastic ammo cans and put their batteries and everything in there, and all their wiring and everything in there, and I've seen them take similar units and do the same exact thing that I've been using with my bucket. The only reason I went with a bucket is so it's got a little bit wider base. It's not as susceptible to get knocked around, knocked over, anything like that. Just a bigger footprint. And then I also went with this type of bucket, so that is just higher off the ice. I don't like to be staring down at the ice the whole time. I mean, with this bucket and then having this ram mount, you know, fully erected and everything, it's at a pretty comfortable eye level. I don't have to be staring down at all. And it just makes it, like I said, convenient to have everything that you need. I keep my unit in there, I keep my clips, I keep my ram mounts, I keep my tape, my tools, everything. I keep everything in there. That way when I'm ready to go on the ice, I just grab one handle and off we go. Setting it all up, you know, with having to drill your transducer to the wood and everything, setting it all up takes me about 3 minutes to do. Not really difficult. And the only thing though is that if you're going to do the way I do it with that 2x1 is that you're going to have your bucket nice and close to the ice, just so that transducer is nice straight up and down. But I haven't had any problem with any fish knocking into it or knocking it over or anything. Pretty good setup. I still have some fine tuning to do, but this is just how I've been doing it, and it's a pretty good start if you're wanting to take your unit that you've been using out on your boat out ice fishing. So good luck and happy fishing.